The Cheating Death Podcast is a comedy, random, and truth-seeking and providing podcast containing information, subject matter, language, and course material that may not be suitable for all listeners. Your discretion in this matter is advised. For any questions or comments, you may email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. On today's episode of the Cheating Death Podcast, we touch into the dead internet conspiracy theory that the vast majority of people and entities you're interacting with online are in fact automated robots. We also touch base on giving credit and respect to those who do not let internet predators slip away from the hands of the law and from the eyes of accountability. We wish to give thanks to each and every single one of those in whom make sure that these individuals do not go away unscathed. We also provide you with an all-new Annihilation Announcement, a new joke of the episode, our top 5 instruments that we've played in 2025, and a lot more. So grab your coffee, your blankets, put your feet up on your favorite table, and let us tell you how you can cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Over the course of the past 5 years, since the beginning of the pandemic, to where millions and millions were locked inside of their homes, there has emerged a new kind of threat, one that poses itself predominantly online. And as long as you are doing everything that you can to ensure that these people are not reaching out to your children or your family, then you are doing the absolute best one could possibly do. We're talking about the internet predators, the individuals in whom Skeeter Jean and Gideon and Chris Hansen constantly go after, the individuals in whom make it so that parents are constantly worried about what their children are doing online. And in this episode, we're focusing specifically and solely on the dead internet conspiracy theory and how it ties in to how individuals of disgusting, absolutely abhorrent action like Nova Online, like Andrew Ditch, like Shanny for Christ, like Jupiter the Hybrid, like all of these other individuals like Chance Wilkins have put on the airwaves of the internet for far too long. There are people on the internet in whom aim to take these people down, and they must be supported, regardless of whether or not you view the actions of these lolcow pursuers as being benevolent or malevolent. Understand this. What is law enforcement doing? State to state, city to city, what are the police and what are the legal systems doing about these people? The answer is absolutely nothing. So, the internet has found a way to hold these individuals accountable through archiving, through ensuring that reactions are provided through each and every single iteration of video or posts they put up on any platform. It is imperative that we continue to hold these people accountable, to protect your children, to protect our families, and to protect our community. So, to all of the individuals in whom hold these people accountable, the Cheating Death Podcast thanks you, and understand that your work is far from done. This has been your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tage und eine gute Nacht. Ist dein Reisender, deine Ausländer, deine Allesfresser, deine Cleric of Chaos. The dead internet theory. A widely speculated, very, very concerned quantity of people indicate that ever since around 2016, the vast majority of internet traffic and communication, as well as engagement between human to machine, has been mostly just that: artificial intelligence, machines, bot traffic taking up the vast majority of what we call the surface web, the very top tier service of your Google searches, of your Bing lookups, and heaven forbid your Ask Jeeves answers. Ladies and gentlemen, the dead internet theory posited of between 2016 and this current time has been widely speculated as having two primary components. One being that the vast majority of communication that you deal with on major branded websites and any other social media forum in between is actually being handled mostly by bots, mostly by artificial intelligence, and that the internet as you know it is a dead organism waiting to show its true colors. The dead internet theory has been widely speculated as having taken place and begun in and around the area of 2010, when artificial intelligence and bot-related response mechanisms through major corporation banks and other entities have reached new heights. Though rest assured, dear listener, the crux of this theory posits that the vast majority of communications that you have, even with your friends, are fake, that they come from a bot or a source of deception. Rest assured, there most likely will indeed be a day where one day the internet is indeed dead, where the vast majority of communication will be between automatic, symptomatic, psychosomatic, if need be, dear listener, the artificial intelligence that you will eventually have your communications with. That is not now. That is not the surface internet of the present, dear no. So do not fear. The internet is still very much so alive, although some corners of it we wish stayed in the shadows, rest assured. And one of those corners are internet predators, ladies and gentlemen. We're referring to your Chance Wilkinses or your Cyraxes, your Nova Onlines or your Gabriel Gages, your Shani for Christ or your Revs, so to speak, your Nicholas Continos, your Nicocado Avocados, all of the internet lolcows and all of these individuals. Why am I referencing and why am I bringing these people up at this particular juncture in time? The reasoning is simple. Chris Hansen, a former employee of NBC Universal, had a segment on Dateline NBC called To Catch a Predator that featured from 2004 all the way through 2008 and was only canceled after a district attorney was caught sending illicit images and information to someone he thought was a minor, and he chose to remove himself from Earth live on television. Hence is why that featured series is no more. But Chris Hansen himself has expanded his reach. He now hosts a streaming service called True Blue, where you can go and subscribe for just $5 American a month, and there are constant discounts for new members. Chris Hansen, for the past 20 plus years, has made it his mission to catch internet predators in whom are trying to engage in illicit acts with your children, America. Yes, this is not a conspiracy. This is happening more and more each and every single day, and with more social media platforms, dating websites, and all new ways that these disgusting, sick people can access your children. In a way, we need more Chris Hansens. We need more regulation. But because we don't have more Chris Hansens, because Chris Hansen is one hell of a man, we have the next best thing. We have a gentleman by the name of Skeeter Jean. We have another lovely, absolutely outstanding pulchritudinous soul by the name of Gideon DeMarcus Cousins III, or yours truly, DeMarcus Handsome. We have Major Chilla. We have Mayor Menace. We have Saturated Content. We have Sensitive Society. We have Steve from Machete Squad. We have John. We have William Gloryhole. We have Southern Harlot. We have a litany of other souls in whom are in this holding them accountable sphere that must be given credit. The Greasy Middle Finger, who covers Nova content on a regular basis. Bloodspeth, who covers Nova, Cyrax, and anything and everyone in between. it needs to be said somewhere by someone that to the outside observer, what these archivists and what these content creators are doing is nothing more than expounding an already horrible situation, and I wholeheartedly disagree. Each and every single one of these creators are holding a Nova Online, a Chance Wilkins, an Andrew Ditch accountable. Nova Online, Gabriel Gage himself has, on numerous occasions, utilized his platform to maintain indecent communication and illegal activity with those who are much, much, much younger than him. He has been exposed numerous times as being what the kids these days call a predator. Chance Wilkins has also been exposed numerous times by the ever so lovely people in the circle, formerly of Music Biz Marty, rest in peace. John William Glory Hole are single-handedly taking this man's life and holding him accountable for each and every single word he says. He is a disgusting human being who has attacked his grandmother, tried to kill her, tried to end her life on multiple occasions. And in 2012, she finally filed a lovely set of charges against him. But yet, she still lets him live within the domicile. She still lets him dwell in the same area. And the reason being is because she knows that he cannot go anywhere else. So regardless of how much he keeps them up at 2 or 3 a.m. by doing his horrible karaoke, by stealing people's music, by lying about his history, and pretending that everyone who dies is his best friend, Chance Wilkins is also being held accountable on a daily basis. And that's another reason that he does not like all the coverage on him, is because every illicit thing that he does, people know immediately. One of the reasons why I personally and professionally, as the Cleric of Chaos, wholeheartedly support the actions of the internet lolcow predator pursuers is because these people are taking time out of their lives and changing their overall life trajectory just to do whatever they possibly can in as humorous and as lighthearted a way possible to bring light to a very serious issue. An issue that most police, most state and federal authorities still have yet to really fully understand the gravity, the volume of the calamity in which is being experienced by those in whom are victims of these predators. So, understand this. This episode, touching base on who these people roughly are, why they are in the sphere, and why people cover them, there are indeed people out there who do not do what is best for the community when covering lolcows. There are numerous examples of that. But for every one of those, you have 10 major chillas. You have 10 saturated contents. You have 10 Steve from Machete Squads. You have 10 Atozis. You have 10 legal mindsets. You have a ton of these people who in every single way, shape, and form should not have to do what they are doing in order to hold these people accountable. But instead they march forward. They move on. They do the very best that they can to ensure that each and every single one of these predators are held accountable. And if you don't understand why they're doing what they do, take 10 minutes to look into one of these predators and understand all of the abhorrent actions that they have committed, not only against people directly within their vicinity, but also to people online, within their states, within their countries, within the entire domicile of Earth. These people need to be held accountable. The reason why there need to be laws enacted to further protect those most vulnerable is because these types of individuals are still allowed to behave with impunity in some ways, shapes, and forms, like your Jupiter the Hybrids, your Andrew Ditches, your Nova Onlines, your Shanny for Christs, your Nicholas Cantinos, and anyone and everyone in between. Understand, dear listener, the internet lolcow is not an individual in whom is being picked on for the purposes of picking on them. These individuals, after researching a lot of the entities that cover them, are being held accountable for some horrible, horrible crimes that their legal system and their policing teams do not have enough regulation, law, or even time to deal with. So the next time that you jump down a lolcow pursuer predator's throat, understand when you're talking to a major chilla or when you're talking to a mere menace that they're literally just trying to bring this situation to light and make sure that no one else suffers the slings and the arrows of the mired beast known as the internet predators. What are your thoughts on the archivists and the unsung heroes behind holding these people accountable? Email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. At the top of the program, we promised you a top 5 list of our favorite instruments we played in 2025. And without further ado, can't include the entire 14 on this list. If we could, no one would want to listen anyway. So, without further ado, getting into the top 5. At number 5, we, of course, have the bass guitar. Coming in at number 4, we have the synthesizer. Coming in at number 3, we have the drums. Coming in at number 2, we have the violin. And coming in at number 1, we have the ESP LTD Jackson King V metal guitar tuned down to A standard. What are your top 5 instruments you've played in 2025? By all means, send us an email at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Today's joke is brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. It is worth noting decorum while at a funeral or at a wake, noting that I'm sorry and I apologize when said at a funeral mean two very different things. The prevailing opinion behind the dead internet theory/conspiracy posits that we are indeed functioning in a wasteland of no human interaction the vast majority of the time we are on the interwebs. Regardless of whether or not you view this theory to be true or fiction, depends on your interpretation and or your feeling towards science fiction. Ultimately identifying as well within the parameters of this episode that we need to start holding these predators online accountable, like your Nova Onlines, like your Chance Wilkinses, like your Andrew Ditches, like your Shani for Christ, like your Rev, like each and every single other individual in whom Major Chilla, who John, William Glory Hole, a whole litany of other YouTube providers cover, Uncle Drew 02, the list goes on and on and on. Sensitive society, saturated content, all these people take time to detail and to archive this. The Greasy Middle Finger also does an exceptionally good job. These are people in whom are trying their very best to shine a light on a situation that state and federal law enforcement does not have the resources to focus on. Over the course of time, we will see a drastic change in the United States in terms of not only how they deal with these types of people on a state-to-state level, but also the punishments for those individuals in whom choose to prey on those in whom are not capable of defending themselves. Remember, there is no end to debauchery or calamity. Find yourself on the right side of history. Hold these people accountable. Thank Major Chilla. Thank Mayor Menace. Thank every other person that is doing all this coverage, because legal authorities have fallen by the wayside. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast is brought to you by Nach dem Leben CRDVC, Chaos Realm Records, und CR Deutschland. Our podcast is available on all podcasting platforms. If you'd like to support the program, you may do so with the links in the episode description with either a one-time gift, or you may subscribe monthly through Buy Me a Coffee or through the Spreaker Supporters Club. You may also book a music lesson or a meeting to discuss your future artistic or business project. Please follow all of our friends at the program at the links in the episode description below as well. And if you or anyone you know is experiencing psychiatric duress, please call 1-800-273-8255 or dial 988 from your mobile phone in the United States or Canada. If anyone you know is experiencing domestic violence, call 1-800-799-7233. And if you're looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, please visit your local animal adoption rescue center. Life is not a one-trick pony, dear listeners. You are strong and you will possess the will to fight. Remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.